to tonight's recap of The Apprentice. Sorry, The Celebrity Apprentice.
Oh my, you don't want to screw that up. All right, so it's the final 4.
Just, if you noticed how horrible my face looks right now, just know I was picking at it the whole episode because I was just like, ugh.
What do you mean, when you weren't swatting that imaginary bug
There
away?
was a real bug, and you know it. Okay, so it's the final 4, and it's down to Marley, Lil Jon, Meatloaf, and John Rich.
Let me just say, it's after 2 in the morning, so we are dedicated. I hope you appreciate it. Alright, so Marley has a little freak out because it was very traumatic for her to see Star Jones getting fired. Why? I don't know. Oh, besties with testes. Alright, so Trump creeps in on everybody. That was really creepy. He's all like...
Yeah, so he lets everyone know that the former winners are going to be interviewing them.
You know, Bret Michaels, Joan Rivers, and Piers Morgan.
Piers!
What you doing here, Piers? Alright, so John Rich. I thought he was a great interview. He was very composed, and he wants to go head-to-head with Lil Jon. Lil Jon, he's great under pressure. Except
for when he said that he does not see himself in the final 2.
Major faux pas
That's
there.
Bad. He wants, well, he thinks it's going to be John Rich and Marley.
Right, at least he's honest. Alright, Meatloaf. He cries a lot. I bet he farts a lot, too.
His name is Meatloaf. He thinks that he's the biggest star on the show.
Alright, Marley. She's hot. Guess who said that? Bret Michaels.
Oh, Bret. You dirty dog.
A freaking stiff wind comes along and Bret Michaels is like, I smell girls.
Okay. So, Marley is kind of like, I might be tapped out for the final challenge.
Piers Morgan doesn't like that. Piers Morgan was tough.
He was.
Well,
he took over for Larry King.
That's
he
true.
asks the tough questions.
Exactly. So, Trump... he fires Lil Jon for not picking himself.
It sounded like you said Lil Jon.
Lil Jon.
He's French now. But anyway, then he fires Meatloaf for crying too much. Like a little crybaby.
And then he cries.
It's been such an honor.
Perfect. Alright, so the final task is for 7-Up Retro.
Oh.
They have to redesign the packaging, shoot the commercial, and... do an in-store display and launch an event. Right.
So they got to either do the 1970s or the 1980s.
Right. And what that means work with Def Leppard or the Harlem Globetrotters.
Ooh.
So the helpers show up and, you know, they pick their teams schoolyard style one at a time. So Marley ended up with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, she picked that.
Right.
So the 1970s.
Right, and Meatloaf, Richard Hatch, and LaToya.
I just have to say, it's been so long since I've seen Richard Hatch in action, and I've fallen in love with him all over again.
Not me. I think he's creepier than ever. All right.
I love it. All right. And John ended up with the 1980s and Def Leppard, which is what he wanted anyway.
Right.
And he picked Lil Jon, Star Jackson, because she's a lawyer.
Star Jackson?
What?
Star Jones.
Who's Star Jackson?
No one.
That's
LaToya Jackson.
Sorry. And Mark McGrath, guys.
It's after 2 in the morning.
So, let's talk about Marley's team.
Alright, so Meatloaf is coming up with these crazy ideas.
Star Jackson is a real person.
I'm sure they are. He wanted to make the can into a disco ball and the box into a boom box. And Marley came up with the slogan, "Feel the Love."
I'm not really feeling the love on that
I'm not either.
So she sent Meat, as he likes to be referred to as, and LaToya for costumes.
Yeah, and they came back with some doozies.
Yeah. So while Meat was gone, Marley decided we're going to ditch the boombox idea for the
boombox box idea. And Meatloaf says, honey, it is a big mistake. You don't want to get Meatloaf mad because you know what happens.
He will throw a phone across the room. All right, so...
The commercial idea was basically things from the 70s that didn't make it. Except, of course, for Retro 7-Up, because that made it.
That withstands time.
Right, so they came up with the idea of, let's get Mr. Uncola Nut, Jeffrey Holder, the original Mr. 7-Up, and, you know, have him be in the commercial, because that is such a huge icon.
Yes.
Everybody knows him. So Marley was in the print ad, but I guess that was a requirement because John Rich was in his print ad as well.
At first I was like, wow, she's really full of herself.
I know. I think it was a requirement.
I think it's required.
Meatloaf wrote the cheesy commercial copy, which was
so
really
bad.
And all of the celebs are in their commercial. So LaToya was a superhero. Meatloaf was himself in a bad wig. He wasn't crying though. He was just like being all freaky. And then they have a little problem with Jeffrey Holder.
Yeah, some sort of contractual issue. And Meatloaf gets off the phone, and all of a sudden,
he turns
0 to 60
dime.
in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna throw this phone across the room.
What's wrong with him? Is he either like anger management issues or bipolar or Meatloaf? I don't know. All right, maybe he had some gas pains. I have no idea.
I don't know, but let's talk about John Rich's team.
All right, so they came up with the slogan, still keeping it real. And
I feel like that worked. I feel like that would have almost worked better for the 70s team.
Right.
Because it feels more of like a groovy 70s kind of thing.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I really like the idea of it for
I
a
do
retro
too.
brand.
And I didn't like the zebra stripes can at first.
I liked it.
But I did after I actually saw, like, the actual can.
I want soda cans with zebra stripes.
Freaking Mark McGrath is crazy.
He's crazy.
He is crazy. But
He's always like,
this is what I think I should do. All right, so Star was totally creeping on John Rich. She wants to get in his pants.
She needs to back off.
I know. He's
Star
married.
Jackson's gonna come up in there and teach her a lesson.
He's married with a child. And it even creeped him out so much that, and it creeped out the whole spirit of Celebrity Apprentice that a picture fell off the wall.
He went all
John
Matilda and made things move with his mind.
Exactly. All right, so I think they're sitting pretty good because there are 3 musicians on their team, and they have the Def Leppard musicians, and they got 80s icon Dee Snider to be in the commercial.
Whoa!
And to shave his mustache, even though he was contractually obligated by the Broadway show Rock of Ages.
Which I would love to see.
Me too.
Send tickets. Okay.
Right. All right, so their commercial concept was...
I really like their concept.
I did too.
Better than
bad 80s icons auditioning. And even a bad Dee Snider, and then after he shaves the mustache, after he drinks the 7-Up Retro, he turns into the original Dee Snider, which was pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah.
He still has it.
But scary, too.
Yes. I'm probably going to have a nightmare tonight. So, like we said, John Rich was in the print ad. My mouth doesn't work either.
Yeah.
So the whole episode ended with Def Leppard also being difficult. They didn't want to play the kick drum on stage, and John Rich was like, I'm gonna do it then, and you know what?
A little drama for both teams.
Exactly. I think this is a little Trump-created drama. You know, the contractual obligation was probably from Trump. You know?
You will create drama.
Exactly. That is your contract. And Def Leppard, again, probably Trump-created because it's a little bit too much of a coinkydink, if you ask me, that both teams were having difficulty. All right, so next time, yeah, it's the season finale. We're there. And all of the F-nuts are back. And
yes,
the problems
Gary
are just
Busey.
the same. Yeah, they are. And he's all like...
Yeah. With
I
those
can't believe I
chiclets
just
on display.
I can't believe I just made that face.
All right.
Because that is so bad. All right, guys, we love you. Till next time, much love.